Thank you for joining us on tonight. I'm Felicity Eziwike. We begin the news at this hour in West Africa, where latest data by the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics shows Nigeria's headline inflation rose to 31.70% in February. The MBS released the figure on Friday, with the latest data showing a rise from the 29.90% recorded in January 2024. According to the MBS Consumer Price Index and inflation report for February, the hike represents a 1.80% increase from what was recorded in January. The data showed that on a year-on-year basis, Nigeria's headline inflation rate was 9.79 percentage points higher compared to the rate recorded in February 2023, which was 21.91%. The Central Bank of Nigeria has reiterated that banks operating in the country cannot use their foreign exchange revaluation gains to pay dividends or meet their operational expenses. In a circular from the Apex Bank signed by the Acting Director, Banking and Supervision Department, Adetona Adedeji, banks were warned against such a move. In September, the CBN directed deposit money banks to stop utilizing gains from their foreign exchange revaluation for dividends and operational expenditures. Forex revaluation gains occur when there is an increase in the value of a bank's assets and liabilities denominated in foreign currency due to a change in the exchange rates between the foreign currency and the local currency. To discuss this, I'm joined by the MD, Trust Bank Asset Management Limited, Aziz Lawal. Aziz, thank you very much for giving us your time. Were you surprised by this directive?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, not necessarily surprised, right? Because if you look at the specific words, the text of the circular, right, where the CBN said that, I mean, these gains should be kept to counter, as a kind of counter-cyclical buffer to cushion any adverse movement in FX rate. And like you rightly mentioned, that these gains arise from assets, right? And these assets can go bad, such that, I mean, you lose the principal on the assets, you lose the interest on the asset, and you come back to reverse the gain, right? So that's the idea. I mean, and typically that's what the CBN should do, right? Where you encourage your market operators and deposit money banks in this case to be prudent, right? So the CBN's guide basically saying it's going to reserve these funds to cover for potential deficits in exchange rates declines, a strategy that is usually known as a counter-cyclical buffer in this text of the CBN. Thank you.
Is this action of the CBN still linked to saving the Naira?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily saving the Naira, right? The directive is meant to save banks and not necessarily save the Naira. It's more of a precautionary and prudent regulatory measure. I mean, aimed at safeguarding the financial stability of banks. So that's the aim, really. It's very precautionary. Like I mentioned earlier, very prudent on the path of the CBN, and to ensure that, I mean, there is stability in the financial system. So it's not necessary to stabilize the Naira, like I mentioned, but rather to ensure that the financial system is stable. Thank you.
Do you think banks in Nigeria can adjust their financial strategies and operations to comply with this restriction?
Yeah, definitely, no doubt about that. I'm thinking that's an interesting question, by the way. I mean, outside the FX gains, right? I mean, if you look at the top line of a lot of these banks, most of them, particularly the tier 1 banks, right, they recorded significant top line performances. Some of them nearly doubled their interest income, right? So outside the FX gains, I mean, these banks performed significantly. So, I mean, even if the CBN says that they should not pay dividend out of those FX gains, they will still do very well, and that will not in any way affect their long-term financial strategies, but rather even strengthen it, right? Like I mentioned earlier, It's a prudent measure, it's a precautionary measure that will, over a long period of time, strengthen the financials of banks rather than weaken it. Thank you.
Aziz, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has ordered the reopening of Nigeria's land and air borders with Niger Republic in compliance with a directive of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, at an extraordinary summit on February 24, 2024 in Abuja. News Central's Perpetual Fasomi Peter has more in this report.
Land and air borders between ECOWAS countries and Niger to be lifted. No-fly zone of all commercial flights to and from Niger is to be lifted. Suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between ECOWAS member states and Niger is to be lifted.
This announcement set the tone for the Nigerian government to also lift the sanctions it imposed on Niger Republic. While the purpose of the sanction was to pressure the military junta in Niger to reinstate the deposed president and return to civilian rule, the unintended effect was damning.
They don't lock the border, we come drop goods. We want the government make them settle themselves. Then if they settle themselves, then we should go. We keep here for a long time. We leave our peoples, our mothers and small children.
If we wish to buy the one mudu, one bowls of the rice, before the border closure, we buy it. We buy it at 150, 15. But now we are buying it in 2,300 naira. The resident of Elela local government, or the mother community, we are asking government to reopening the official border.
It's no surprise that many Nigerians heaved a sigh of relief when the Nigerian government announced it was lifting the sanctions imposed on the West African country.
These have economic implication on the two countries. The first one is that the food shortage we saw in Nigeria, which of course is still also affected Niger. The volume of rice available in Nigeria, especially in northern region, reduced significantly, coupled with the fact that there is high level of insecurity in the northern Nigeria. Niger market or output from Niger always helped Nigeria to reduce the impact of this food shortage. How has ECOWAS countries helped their citizens to improve in terms of their living standard? It's a right decision to say we don't want more military to take over territories. But the question is, currently that you are in charge of the economy, what is happening to exports? What is happening to poverty? What is happening to exchange rate? What is happening to unemployment? What is happening to inflation?
Following a July 2023 military coup that ousted Niger's democratically elected president, Nigeria imposed sanctions, which included the closure of land and air borders, halting vital trade flows, and suspending financial transactions. While the pressure for a democratic transition in Niger remains, the resumption of trade offers a glimmer of hope for economic recovery. In Lagos, for News Central, Perpetua Fasomi Peter.
Many thanks, Perpetua. The Nigerian Senate has passed for second reading the Students' Loan Access to Higher Education Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024. This followed a correspondence by President Bola Tinubu, who wrote to the Senate seeking the repeal of the existing law and has submitted a fresh bill to be passed into law. This request comes a day after the announcement of a temporary suspension of the commencement of the student loan scheme, which would allow students of tertiary institutions access to interest-free loans to complete their studies.
It is my honor and privilege to lead the debate on the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the bill seeks to enhance the implementation of the Higher Education Loan Scheme by addressing challenges relating to the management structure of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, applicant eligibility requirements, loan purpose, funding sources, and disbursement. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the objectives of the bill are to, 1, provide loans to qualified Nigerians to pay tuition, fees, charges, and upkeep during their course of study.
Bill for an act to repeal the Students' Loans Access to Higher Education Act 2023 and enact the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Bill 2024 to establish the Nigerian Education Loan Fund as a body corporate to receive, manage, and invest funds to provide loans to Nigerians for higher education, vocational training, and skills acquisition, and for related matters dealt with 2024. Second reading taken.
Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Mrs. Zubaida Umar as the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency. She becomes the first woman to head the agency. This was contained in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, on Friday. The new DG of NEMA has over 20 years of work experience in diverse fields, including human resources and finance and administration. The president says he expects the new DG will bring the much-needed financial and operational discipline and refashion the agency into a performance-driven and proactive emergency response provider with a focus on prevention and climate change readiness in the execution of its core mandate. Let's bring you the news from Niger State, North Central Nigeria, where we understand the government has budgeted 976 million naira for Ramadan feeding in the 8 emirate councils of the state. Also, assorted grains have been procured to be distributed to all the 25 local government areas, emirate councils, religious leaders, security agencies, and political parties in the state. The State Commissioner for Information, Binta Maman, made this known in a statement on Friday. The commissioner said each local government will receive 7,079 bags of assorted grains. She appealed to all those responsible for the distribution and coordination of the palliatives and Ramadan feeding to be fair in carrying out the task. The member representing Oriade State Constituency in the Osun State House of Assembly, Kanmi Ajibola, has written to the leadership of the National Assembly demanding the death penalty be made a punishment for corruption. Ajibola, in his 5-page letter addressed to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, said the level of corruption in the country has made it necessary to introduce capital punishment into Nigeria's anti-graft laws. He lamented the huge resources the country has lost to corruption, saying if such monies had been properly utilized, Nigeria would not be struggling with infrastructure deficit. Ajibola further said the anti-corruption laws and acts in their existing forms in Nigeria are not result-oriented, hence the need for the introduction of capital punishment. The remains of the late Olubado of Ibadan land, Oba Lekan Balogun Ali Okumade II, were on Friday interred at the Aliwo Ancestral Home around 4:30 p.m. The late monarch, who reigned for 2 years, died at the age of 81 on Thursday at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, Oyo State, after a brief illness. The state deputy governor, Bayo Lawal, led other government functionaries to the family burial ground at Aliwo in Ibadan, North local government area. There was a line-in state at Mapo Hall from 12 noon to 1 p.m. before the remains of the monarch were moved to Aliwo for burial after prayers. The chief imam of Ibadan land described the deceased as a beacon of peace and renowned for his unwavering honesty.
He will meet his creator in peace. Let me assure you on behalf of His Excellency the Governor of Oyo State, who is this evening unavoidably absent, that whatever it will take to give a fitting burial, the state government will do it whenever the governor comes back to the state. For now, is what we call janazah in Islamic rite. We have given him that right, and we believe sincerely that moving forward, whatever programs that will follow would get involvement of the state government.
The 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan land, His Imperial Majesty Oba Lekan Balogun Ali Okumade II, has died at the age of 82. The first-class monarch died at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, few hours after he was admitted into the tertiary health facility. He has since been buried according to Islamic rites. There is more in this report.
Olubadan. This royal title is ascribed to the king of Ibadan land. Let's take a quick drive down memory lane of how the royal title of Olubadan came to be. In 1820, an army of Egba, Ijebu, Ife, and Oyo people won the town during their wars with the Fulanese, but after a struggle between the victors, the Oyo people gained control in 1829. By 1850, they had established their unusual succession principle, which is quite different compared with other traditional Yoruba rulers, in that it alternates between two lines, a system where the Baale line, which is civic, and Balogun Isorike line, which is the military, shared power, subject to traditional council representing both lines. It takes decades to groom an Olubadan for the stool, through stages of chieftaincy promotion. Because of the unusual succession principle, where the title is not hereditary in most cases, the Olubadan are usually very old men who spend an average of 5 years in power. But there are rare cases of Olubadan who ruled for almost 2 decades. A typical example of this is Olubadan Kuala Abbas, who ruled from 1930 to 1946, a period of 16 years. From 1971 till date, the city of Ibadan has had a total of 10 kings. Among them is Oba Daniel Akinbiyi, who was the first Olubadan to wear a crown from the first day of installation. One of the Olubadan to have served for the shortest period was Oba Yola Paul Ayodele, who ruled for just 2 months, from July to September 2007. Oba Lekan Balogun is the latest of the kings to have ruled the Ibadan city. He was crowned the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan land on March 11, 2022, after he succeeded his predecessor, the late Oba Saliu Adetunji, who reigned for 6 years. Oba Balogun, before he became a king, had represented the Oyo Senatorial District in the National Assembly between 1999 and 2003, where he served as the chairman of the Senate Committee on National Planning. He died on the 14th of March 2024, exactly 2 years and 3 days after he was crowned a king. The Balogun of Ibadan land, Oba Owolabi Olakunlehin, is expected to be crowned as the next Olubadan of Ibadan land, is considered the next in line, according to traditional rites. For News Central, Adeshewa Odushoga.
A non-governmental organization has organized an outreach to give back to the Nigerian police by providing free medical care for them, provide basic relief materials during this hardship, and lots more. News Central's Bettina Uweli reports.
When you mention the word police to the average Nigerian, what comes to mind are things like fear, brutality, and other not-so-nice thoughts. In 2020, a nationwide protest, EndSARS, saw thousands of Nigerian youths storm the streets to protest against police brutality and extrajudicial killings. However, this has not stopped the hand of benevolence from getting to them.
We kind of thought about it okay, what extra thing can we do and who can we do it with? The entire team came up with, let's do something, for the force people, the personnel. Though they might not be quote-unquote loved, liked, by people in general, but they're still humans.
The aim of the outreach was to check up on the health status of those responsible for protecting the nation. To no surprise, majority were found to have been living with hypertension and diabetes.
We were able to identify common medical conditions like polycontrol diabetes, and hypertension as well in most of them. And a number of them didn't even know they were hypertensive. So some of them are not compliant with their medications. Some of them have never even had their blood pressure checked ever.
Most of them we noticed that most of them are hypertensive. Their BPs, most of them, their BPs are extremely high. So, I encourage police officers to always have a health check.
With smiles on their faces and grateful hearts, members of the force testify to feeling loved among society, as this outreach is not one that comes every day.
I like it too. We thank God.
People out there see police, they will think that police are different human beings. But the only thing that makes a policeman different from me and you is just their uniform. They brought many doctors here. Those doctors will check your health status, check whatever you have, advise you, then take your data. Then based on your health, the most important thing that they endeared us is that now what they want to do is whatever that is your problem, whatever that is your health challenge, they will recommend a hospital, a 5-star hospital for you, where you will go and they will put the bills.
The police is your friend is one slogan that is surrounded with a lot of controversy. However, it is safe to say that friendship is a two-way street. It is hoped that the Nigerian police will be more approachable to the common man as they carry out their duties to protect and serve. In Lagos, for News Central, Bettina Unwili.
As they say, health is wealth. Veteran Nigerian broadcaster Bimbo Oloyede is trading a traditional birthday celebration for a mission of hope. To mark her 70th birthday on March 15, she chose to spearhead a 100 million naira fundraising initiative to improve cancer treatment in public hospitals across the country. News Center's Chidimma Ona compiled this report.
For most people, birthdays are occasions of pomp and flamboyance. It is for them a day to pull out all the stops as they celebrate themselves. However, in a heartwarming display of compassion, veteran broadcaster Bimbo Oloyede turned her 70th birthday into a fight for a healthier future. She's fundraising 100 million naira to help improve cancer treatment in public hospitals in Nigeria.
The idea is that we should be able to put some money in research so that we can get results. We can find out, a few more things and help patients along the way.
We all have to give back. If we go through life without helping even one person, then our life means nothing. We all have to give back some way, somehow, some other.
I think it would be a very impactful initiative. And I congratulate Bimbo Oloyede on the thought of establishing this fund for the treatment and research into cancer.
Bimbo Oloyede is no stranger to giving a voice to the voiceless with her platform and has had a swell legacy in media. In light of adding lifelines to cancer patients, Bimbo and a few guests reflect on her successful career.
Through broadcasting, I became an author. Through broadcasting, I became a trainer. Through broadcasting, I became a coach. Through broadcasting, I became a compere. So these are all offshoots of broadcasting.
Auntie Bimbo remains an icon. I liked her aura because she was a simple person, very professional, and then it was quite interesting. Not too many people in the NTA were married at that time. She was one of those who was married, and the fact is her husband also worked with the Nigerian Television Authority. She was calm, cool, and collected.
Celebrating my mom at 70 is an indescribable feeling. I am so honored that I get to share this life with her. I'm so honored that I get to call her mother.
This birthday campaign highlights the critical need for improved cancer care in Nigeria's public health system. It also enjoins Nigerians to show greater commitment to positive causes.
Good to know you're still with us. Ousmane Sonko, one of Senegal's leading opposition figures, has made his first public appearance in months, just a day after his release from jail, greeting hundreds of supporters in the capital, Dakar. Sonko arrived at a hotel to hold a press conference with his deputy, Bassirou Faye, who was also released from prison on Thursday and who Sonko has endorsed as a candidate for the March 24 presidential vote. He predicted a large first-round victory for Faye if the presidential vote went ahead without fraud. He called on the Senegalese people to remain vigilant, especially as there are rumors of corruption circulating. Police in Somalia say 3 people were killed in an hours-long siege by Al-Shabaab group at a popular hotel near the presidential palace in the capital, Mogadishu. Somali police spokesman Colonel Kazim Ahmed Robel told a press conference that 27 others, including 18 civilians and 9 soldiers, were wounded. Armed fighters had stormed the SYL hotel, which had been targeted several times in the past, in a hail of bullets late on Thursday. It broke a relative lull in violence by the Al-Qaeda-linked group, demonstrating its continued ability to strike despite a major military offensive against the militants.
daqiiqo ayaa qawaariijtu waxay weerar dhuumaalaysi ah ku qaadeen hotel SYL. ciidanka nabadgelyada oo si degdeg ah uga jawaabaya saacada kadib wuxuu bannaanka soo dhigay 5tii qawaariijta ee gudaha u gashay hotel SYL. shacabka Soomaaliyeed iyo ciidanka oo isku jira waxaa ka dhaawacmay 27 qof, 9 askari iyo 18 shacab ah. halkaas waxaa ku naf waayay ciidan gaaraya 3 askari. xaaladda hadda waa ay nabad qabtaa.
Up next is business news.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Welcome to Business News. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) report has revealed extensive financial misconduct at the Rural Electrification Agency (REA), implicating the former management team, including Managing Director Salihijo Ahmad, in the misappropriation of approximately 12.7 billion naira. The investigation also uncovered the embezzlement of 12.4 billion naira in COVID-19 funds disbursed to the agency. The report highlights irregularities in payments, lack of necessary approvals, and violations of procurement processes. Additionally, the EFCC's findings support the need for accountability and transparency in public institutions, emphasizing the urgency of addressing vulnerabilities and reducing the incidence of fraud within government operations. To Southern Africa now, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced the extension of Central Bank Governor Lesotho Nyawo's term for an additional 5 years starting from November. Additionally, Mamfu Modise has been appointed as the new Deputy Governor of the bank. The President emphasized that the reappointment of Governor Nyawo will ensure continuity and institutional stability at the Reserve Bank. Modise, currently a Deputy Director General in the National Treasury, will assume her new role on April 1st for a term of 5 years, replacing former Deputy Governor Kuben Nado. The appointments are aimed at maintaining stability within the central bank and ensuring the smooth functioning of monetary policy and financial regulation in South Africa. Angola's President João Lourenço has announced that the country is seeking financing from China or private investors to construct a refinery in the port city of Lobito, as well as a petrochemical plant and a military air force base. Lourenço also expressed a desire to attract investors from China for Angola's oil blocks. The Export-Import Bank of China and the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China have extended the deadline for providing financing for the construction of the Kakulo-Kabasa hydroelectric dam, following Lourenço's request for intervention from Chinese authorities. Lorenzo is currently in China, engaging in discussions with Premier Li Xiang and other officials. Angola has a debt of approximately $17 billion to Chinese creditors, primarily the China Development Bank and Exim Bank. And that's a package on the news at this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. The news continues shortly. Bye for now.
In sport, Nigeria's Super Falcons dropped 2 places in the first FIFA Women's Rankings for 2024. The 9-time African champions dropped from 32nd to 34th position. Coach Randy Wardrum's side, however, maintained the top position in Africa. The Super Falcons have only been in action twice this year, defeating Cameroon over 2 legs in the Paris 2024 Olympic Games qualifier. They will battle the Banyana of South Africa in the final qualifying round next month. Meanwhile, South Africa, who occupies 2nd position on the continent, moved up 1 place in the world rankings to 51st in Africa. Still talking football, the Malian Football Federation revealed a roster of 28 players for their upcoming March internationals against Mauritania on the 22nd of March and Nigeria on the 26th of March, which is on Friday. One noticeable absence is Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Yves Bissouma, who played the full match in Spurs' recent Premier League fixture, a 4-0 win away at Aston Villa. The 27-year-old participated at the 2023 African Cup of Nations, starting 2 of Mali's 5 matches before the elimination in the quarter-finals. Away from football, now to wrestling, where the Nigerian wrestling team can heave a sigh of relief after they received a last-minute financial boost to make their trip to Egypt for the African Championships a reality. The team will arrive in Alexandria after an impressive performance at the 13th African Games, where they won 6 gold medals. Nigeria Wrestling Federation President Daniel Igali had earlier disclosed that a severe lack of funds were threatening Nigeria's participation at the championships. However, a late but much-needed injection of funds to the federation has put the fears to rest. The first batch of wrestlers are already en route to Cairo, while the second batch will leave on Sunday. And now to football on the global stage. FIFA has confirmed its Under-17 World Cup will be expanded to 48 teams and be held annually rather than biennially as part of the governing body's steadfast commitment to youth football. It also confirmed that the next 5 editions of the competition, starting in 2025, will take place in Qatar. Meanwhile, the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, which has been expanded to 24 teams and will be played annually as of 2025, will be hosted by Morocco until 2029. The decision followed a global call for expressions of interest in hosting both competitions, with a focus on leveraging the use of existing footballing infrastructure in the interest of tournament efficiencies and sustainability. Interesting times ahead in the world of youth football. And to wrap up Sports Update, we'll go straight to the world of cricket, where Cricket Cranes of Uganda will be medal hopefuls at the African Games after naming a full-strength side for the inaugural appearance. The men's cricket team tournament at the African Games will run from March 16th to the 23rd in Accra, Ghana. The side will be led by Brian Masaba at the tournament as captain. Uganda is in Group A alongside South Africa, Kenya, and Ghana. Craig Williams will join the team as a batting consultant, a role he served in during the T20 World Cup qualifiers. The batting will be marshaled by Roger Mukasa and Simon Sisi at the top of the order. Uganda will start its campaign against their East African rivals, Kenya, on Sunday, followed by Ghana, and then complete the group games against South Africa. That wraps it up on Sports Update. I'm Favor Itua.
Nollywood actor Timini Osun has just announced that he will be taking a break from acting next year, citing the need for his well-being. The Bayelsa State-born actor made the revelation during a podcast interview with content creator Kamsi Namani. Osun disclosed that his decision was influenced by years of relentless work, where he managed only 6 hours of sleep per day while consistently filming on various sets. He has emphasized that the necessity of this break is for his well-being, acknowledging the importance of prioritizing rest. Reflecting on his 14-year-long career, Osun expressed gratitude for the opportunities that he has had in the industry. He has also shared insights into his journey into the acting industry, which began by accompanying his sister actress Dakore Osun Akande to sets and then later developing a passion for the craft. Meanwhile, the murder investigation involving AKA and Tibbs has hit another obstacle as the extradition proceedings for the suspects Siyabonga and Malusi in the Mande have been postponed until March 20th. This delay suggests that the case may linger longer than anticipated, leaving fans eager for more information on this high-profile incident. According to reports from the popular entertainment blog MDN News, the extradition of the Indemande brothers, who are among the suspects in the murder case, has faced yet another setback. The postponement was attributed to the South African authorities' failure to submit the required documentation. Despite the delay, public voices remain active in their efforts to seek justice for the rapper. And that's all we can take on entertainment tonight. We'll go on a short break now, and when we are back, I'll bring you the updates on what's trending. Thank you for staying with us. Now, moving away from entertainment news, I bring you the trending topic across social media platforms today. The hashtag Dr. Ruby Onwudiwe is trending due to her recent statement where she disclosed rejecting the appointment from the APC government to join the CBN board. However, earlier announcements from the APC government contradicts her statement, as it was stated that they withdrew the appointment following objections raised by prominent party members, particularly regarding Onwudiwe's support for Peter Obi in the 2023 presidential election. Now, this development has sparked controversy on social media, with divided opinions emerging. Here's what some Nigerians are saying on X. Let's find out. Omo Okwe is saying, it is encouraging to see individuals like Dr. Ruby Onwudiwe taking a stand against corruption and illegitimacy. This sends a powerful message about the importance of upholding integrity in government. Emma is saying, how did she reject it? Is it after submitting herself for security screening and paying for catering for the celebration after swearing in? Just the play. And then another tweet from Victor is saying, the little I know of appointments and promotions, etc., is that your CVs are usually required before confirmation and then announcement. So no, the offer was not declined, it was withdrawn. And then the last tweet from Ademola is saying, how about now? Before getting to be announced in the first instance, she submitted her CV, resume, and presented herself for all security clearance. Come on, man, it is not possible. That's all we can take tonight on what's trending. But you can join the conversation and share your thoughts across social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. I am Jedel Simon.
Do send your eyewitness reports to the number showing now on your screen. You can follow us on social media at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Thank you very much for your kind company. I'll see you next week.